Hey everyone, welcome back to another video in the Golang series. Today we are going to make one other project, which is going to be the OTP Validator. We are going to make it with something known as Redis. Uh, now, for in simple terms, Redis is a key value store. You have it's kind of like a map. It stores something, some key, and its associated value. Uh, but the biggest advantage is it kind of deletes these keys after some time. Not always, but you can set something known as time to live. That is, let's say generally the OTPs are only valid for 30 seconds, 2 minutes, or so after let's say 30 seconds, you need to delete it. So Redis is very useful in such scenarios where you want to store something for a short duration of time. There are other very important use cases for Redis as well. Uh, so if you want a dedicated video on Redis, please drop it in the comments and we'll talk about it. But for now, it's just a simple map which is going to store, let's say, the email ID of who requested the OTP and what the OTP is. That's it. Now, why can't we store it in the database? Well, we can. But again, the problem is that OTPs are short-lived, so I don't want to persist it in the database. I'll just be using extra space. So I just want, so if I were to store it in the database, right, I would have to delete it. Maybe some background worker would continuously be checking, okay, is this expired? Can I delete it? So I don't want that. So most of the times you will see something like Redis or some other cache which would get used for such scenarios. So we are going to build a REST API, generate a 6-digit OTP. You can do any number of digits, that's fine. Store it in Redis. Automatically expire OTP after 5 minutes. Actually, you know what? I will actually do it maybe 30 seconds. I got this README file from GPT. I didn't really read it, so please ignore that. Validate the OTP and delete after successful verification. Got it. Tech stack, we know Go, we know Gin, Redis, we'll talk about it. And Go Redis is kind of the package that we are going to use to set up Redis. And okay, so we already have a main.go file, we have a Go mod file, that's great. Go mod init. Okay, let's go. Let's say I open this. Um, so I need this, and I need Redis. Okay, I'll share the README file, of course, with the code so you can check out all these commands from there. So for running Redis, I'm using a Mac, so I just need this command. So there's two ways that I know of on how to run Redis. You can either use brew and run it locally, or if you're already familiar with Docker, you can set up a container and run Redis inside that. But since we've not talked about Docker on this channel, so I'm going to avoid it for now. So brew install Redis. All right. So now that everything is installed, let's verify this. So if I do this, uh, I should get Pong as the output, and I did. Perfect. So let's start running our. Let's start creating these. So okay, this is fine. This is fine. So, okay, I can leave all this. Fine. Let's just get here. So, the first thing that we need is a router, which is going to come from gen dot uh, default. Okay, and okay, I still have the extensions going on. Router dot run dot run. That's great. And we need two endpoints. Let's say I just define post endpoints. I don't think it really matters right now. Post. It will what it's going to take the end parameter as generate. I think it's sorry generate. Oh. TP, and it is going to maybe call a generate function. Generate, we'll define it later, and router dot post validate. Okay, great. Let's define this function actually. So func generate, and great. Okay, and similarly, I am going to need a validate. Great. Okay, what did I do? All right. Okay. So what do I want now? Okay. So we'll come to these implementations later and to do. Uh, Now let's start with setting up our Redis. So what do we need for that? So I'll come to the definition. I'll copy some code from here. Uh, uh, and okay, so let's copy this. Okay, this is here, and I need two things, right? So var I'll need a ctx, which will be context.background. Let's save it. And I need one thing, RDB, which will be a Redis client, and this is fine. And yeah, I don't really need any of this. This is fine. So we have a connection and we have everything. Now what do we do? Uh, what are we going to have is, so let's say the user will provide in their email, and using that email, we will be sending out an OTP. So let's define a type user, which will be a struct, and it will have email, which will be a string JSON email, perfect. And what do we have here? So over here we will get a var request. It will be of type user, and and uh okay, let's just go with the suggestions for now. Okay, fine. Uh, what's missing? Did I miss something? Web servers, main.go, see gen.context. That's why I was feeling weird. So yeah, you can't always rely on these suggestions. Just ignore this for now. So we have a request which is of type user. We try to unmarshal it. So okay, and if we get any errors, we throw it. Otherwise, OTP generated. Let's okay, fine. So what will we do now is we would generate uh, we would generate OTP here. And so for that, let's declare one more function, func generate OTP. Um, it and we have that constant length equals 6. So what will we have here? And then we have one uh, and let's say um we want to keep the OTP as only numbers. So if it's only numbers, then what it Yeah, I don't think I need this right now. That's fine. So um for I equals 0, I less than, what am I doing wrong now? I less than length, I plus plus. Uh, Now, okay, so this is going to return a string, right? So it's going to return a string. Let's declare OTP or OTP. Um, OTP plus equals, and we are going to use math dot rand. Okay, no, it's not math dot rand, it's random. Hmm. Okay, let's check random uh package. It was math. Great. Express. Int n. This is what I want. Rand dot int n. So if I run this, it should give between, right? Okay, so this is exactly what I want. OTP plus equal rand dot int n. But int n would return int n would return integer. So we want str con dot itof. Great. Great. And we return an OTP. Okay. Sorry, what? We don't call it like this? Oh, my bad. So this is done. Fine, that I don't care. This is okay. So let's say we name this as OTP, is generate OTP. All right, so it turns out something went wrong with the recording. I completed the code and it turned out I didn't record half of it. So, well, I think the last thing that we were talking about is this generate OTP function. Now that the OTP is generated, I would want to store it in the Redis because this is primarily where the client would, check it later. So there's a function rdb.set, which if you check the definition, why is it not coming up? Yeah. So it takes in the context, the key, what you the key for which you want to store something, the value which is an interface. Now we have not talked about interfaces. It's just what you want to store with this key, and the expiration. So over here, I want the request.email or the user email to be the key. For that, I'll store an OTP, and I will keep the time of expiration as 5 seconds. Um, so it can be anything actually. Let's just say 30. That will be easier. So if there's any error in setting it, we just log it over here. Else we tell the user okay, it's done. Now that the user will come and validate it, again I'll send the user email. I'll unmarshal everything. I'll come and get OTP from the Redis, and yeah. So there's an rdb.get method which is context request.email and dot result. So this if you hover on this, yeah, you'll get a string and an error. So the string would be the OTP and any error in retrieval. So again, I do this, and once I've read the OTP, I can go ahead and delete it, or I can keep it for some time because after 30 seconds it's anyway going to expire. So you can go ahead and there's an rdb.delete function that you can use. But I think there could be a possible scenario where, let's say, the user we return the validate function, but for some reason the user is still not able to log in. He again possibly enters the same OTP again for validation, and at that point this will just fail over here. So I don't know if deletion is the best possible way to go over here. And there's actually also one more function, rdb dot get del, which basically gets the OTP and deletes it at the same time. So this is basically a combination of the other two steps. So you can go ahead and do this. Uh, Also because Redis is a in-memory cache, so if you don't delete it, it will just keep accumulating and you will run out. But then again, as I mentioned, right, we have a 30-second expiration. So even if I don't delete it, I feel like I should be fine. So this is up to you. If you have any other inputs into should deletion be done or not, please feel to leave it out in the comments. And then there's we just return that it's validated and what the OTP was. So let's just run this. Go. And if we so I'm using Bruno to test it out. So let's say I go to generate OTP. This is I added some email, and if I click send, it will generate an OTP. Fair enough. And what happens when I try to hit the validate OTP? And again, it's the same email. If I do send, it says OTP validated and great. Now, if I hit it again, it should have deleted it. So now, if I try to do this, it says error failed to validate OTP because over here we have deleted it. So once it's validated, there's nothing that is mapping to that key anymore. One other thing, I'll talk about it a little more when we actually start talking about Redis. But Redis doesn't automatically delete things after this time to live or the TTL. So even after 30 seconds, right, uh, it would just store something like a -2 with this key. What that -2 is basically when I try to do a get operation, it will see a negative timestamp. It doesn't make any sense, right? So it will just say the key is not there or it's expired. And in Redis has a background worker which will go ahead and delete it sometime later. So it's not like after 30 seconds you don't the key is not present. It's just you can't access it anymore. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's all we wanted to discuss for this video. It was a small project. We created a server. We set up Redis for that. Redis by default goes on to localhost 6379. We used it, created two endpoints, and did some normal validations, and that's it. I have one more project planned for now. I'm still thinking of what else I can build on this channel, and probably some small videos here and there about Golang series, but we are pretty close to the end of the Golang series. So if you've been following and if you've liked so far, please leave it out in the comments. And see you guys next time. Bye bye.